The gospel music community is preparing for an emotional moment that will resonate far beyond the walls of a single church. Later this month, the wife of legendary gospel composer and worship leader Richard Smallwood will stand before family, friends, faith leaders, and thousands of admirers to say a final goodbye to the man whose music shaped generations of worshipers. While the world mourns the loss of a gospel giant, for her, this farewell marks the most personal and painful chapter of all. Richard Smallwood, the award-winning composer whose songs became pillars of modern gospel music, passed away on the 30th of December 2025 at the age of 77. Family sources confirmed that he died from complications related to kidney failure while receiving care at a nursing facility in Sandy Spring, Maryland. His passing sent shockwaves through the gospel world, ending a career that not only transformed church music, but also offered comfort, hope, and healing to millions. An era ends, a personal loss begins. For fans, Richard Smallwood was a musical visionary, a man whose compositions carried deep theology, emotional honesty, and unmatched musical excellence. For his wife, however, he was first and foremost a husband. Behind every standing ovation and every choir anthem was a shared life filled with faith, sacrifice, and unwavering partnership. The official celebration of life for Smallwood is scheduled for January 24 at First Baptist Church of Glenarden International in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Doors will open at 9:30 a.m., with the service beginning at noon. The event is expected to draw an outpouring of mourners from across the country and around the world, including artists, pastors, choirs, and longtime admirers whose spiritual lives were shaped by Smallwood's music. Yet amid the scale of the event, those close to the family say the most powerful moment will come when his wife offers her farewell. It will not be a performance or a public appearance in the traditional sense, but a deeply human moment of love and loss played out before a global audience. A quiet strength behind the music. While Richard Smallwood's name became synonymous with gospel excellence, his wife remained largely out of the spotlight. Friends of the family describe her as his quiet strength, the steady presence who supported him through decades of ministry, creative pressure, and health challenges. Smallwood's career demanded long hours, emotional investment, and spiritual responsibility. As a worship leader and composer, he carried the weight of knowing his music would accompany people through some of their most painful and sacred moments, from hospital beds to funeral services. His wife shared that burden privately, witnessing both the joy and the toll that such a calling required. In recent years, as Smallwood's health declined, her role became even more central. She stood by him through hospital visits, treatments, and extended periods of uncertainty. Those close to the family say their bond deepened during this time, rooted in prayer, faith, and a shared understanding of life's fragility. Family requests privacy, honors legacy. Shortly after Smallwood's death, the family released a public statement, confirming the loss and asking for privacy as they grieved. We are saddened to announce the passing of world-renowned artist, songwriter, and musician Richard Smallwood, the statement read. The family asks that you respect our privacy during this difficult time, while helping to celebrate the legacy he leaves behind and the gifts he unselfishly shared with the world. That legacy, however, extends beyond albums and accolades. For his wife, it is found in quiet memories, shared prayers, and the man she knew away from the stage. Friends describe Smallwood as gentle, spiritually grounded, and deeply devoted in his personal life. Despite his global influence, he was known at home as humble and reflective, a man whose faith guided his every step. A celebration of life, not just a goodbye. Organizers of the January 24 service say the celebration of life will reflect both Smallwood's towering influence and the intimacy of his spiritual journey. The service will feature music, scripture, and tributes from those whose lives he touched. Originally, the Morgan State University Choir was expected to perform, but organizers later announced that the choir would not appear due to space limitations. Even so, attendees can expect a service filled with powerful worship and heartfelt remembrance. Fitting for a man whose music redefined gospel standards, faith leaders and artists across denominations have already begun honoring Smallwood publicly. Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock, senior pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, described him as a musical genius and a giant in the world of gospel music. His songs got us through tough times, dark and difficult days. Warnock wrote in a tribute, "No grave can silence his voice. The melodies linger and the faith lives on." Those words echo the sentiment shared by countless worshipers who turned to Smallwood's music during moments of grief, doubt, and prayer. Tributes pour in from across the music world. Beyond the church, Smallwood's influence reached artists across genres. Legendary singer Chaka Khan shared a deeply personal tribute, crediting him with reshaping her understanding of gospel music. "Richard Smallwood opened up my whole world of gospel music," Khan wrote. "His music didn't just inspire me, it transformed me. He will be greatly missed, and his legacy will continue to live through every note and every soul he touched." Such tributes underscore the breadth of Smallwood's impact. His compositions were not confined to church walls. They became cultural touchstones, bridging sacred and secular spaces while maintaining deep spiritual integrity. The woman who knew the man behind the legend. While the public remembers Richard Smallwood as a composer and worship leader, his wife remembers the man behind the music. Family friends say she witnessed the long nights of writing, the emotional weight of ministry, and the responsibility he felt toward those who depended on his music for spiritual strength. She also saw the joy that came when someone shared how a song like Total Praise or Center of My Joy helped them survive illness, loss, or despair. Those moments reaffirmed Smallwood's calling, and his wife shared in that sense of purpose, even when the demands were heavy. As the celebration of life approaches, those close to the family believe her farewell will be one of the most moving moments of the service. Though she has chosen to grieve privately, her words are expected to reflect love, faith, and resilience. It will not simply be a goodbye, but a testimony to a life shared in devotion and service. A legacy written in music and marriage. Richard Smallwood's career spanned decades, and his influence reshaped contemporary gospel music. His songs became prayers for congregations worldwide, sung in moments of worship, mourning, and hope. For many, his music gave voice to emotions they could not articulate on their own. For his wife, those songs were also woven into the fabric of their marriage. Music was not just his profession. It was part of their daily life and shared ministry. As his health declined, that shared faith became a source of strength, guiding them through uncertainty and loss. Smallwood's passing has also prompted reflection within the gospel community about the cost of such a calling. While audiences saw brilliance and excellence, his wife lived alongside the sacrifices that made it possible. Travel, demanding schedules, and physical strain were balanced by mutual support and a deep spiritual bond. Looking ahead with faith, the family has announced that additional information regarding memorial details, accommodations, and donations will be shared through Richard Smallwood's official Facebook account. Supporters from around the world are expected to attend the service or follow it remotely, united by the music that shaped their spiritual journeys. For many, January 24 will be a chance to honor a gospel icon. For Smallwood's wife, it will be the moment she formally releases the man she loved into rest, surrounded by a community that understands both the pain of loss and the promise of hope. Her farewell will not erase the grief, but it will mark a sacred transition from shared earthly life to cherished memory. As gospel music fills the sanctuary, her goodbye will echo far beyond the church walls, carrying the weight of love, loss, and unshakable faith. Richard Smallwood may no longer sit at the piano or lead choirs in worship, but through his music, his ministry, and the love of the woman who stood beside him, his presence endures. In that final farewell, spoken with a heavy heart and steady faith, the world will be reminded that while legends may pass, the impact they leave behind never truly fades.